and lost the fin of his boat, which makes it practically impossible to scull a single scull, and had some other scratches on the boat. So a protest has been launched, but the medals were given earlier, and I will bring you news if anything else emerges on that. Men's 4 final, lane 1, Denmark, Carl Christensen, Thomas Larsen, Gunnar Levering and Morten Nielsen, and in lane 2 the United States. Now this is the 4 taken from the United States. 8, Matt Deacon, Dan Beery, Bo Hoopman, Brian Volpenheim. These 4 won gold medals in Athens in the 8, and next to them in lane 3 the World Cup champions from Great Britain right the way through the past season, Steve Williams, Peter Reid, Alex Partridge and Andrew Triggs-Hodge. Netherlands, the heirs apparent this year, having raced extremely well through the season, always behind Great Britain but very fast in the semi-final. And we move across to Canada, Rob Vatmar, Peter Dembicki, Andrew Ireland and Christopher McDaniel. In lane 6, another New Zealand crew, Stephen Cottle, Eric Murray, Carl Meyer and Donald Leach. This is the first New Zealand crew we've seen this morning that hasn't been on an inside favoured lane 3 and 4, and which might not win a gold medal, but we shall see. Peter Reid, Alex Partridge, Hodge stroking the British for World Cup champions this year. Now the Dutch want to beat them. Dutch to the left in this picture, they are third up from the bottom of the picture. That's the Great Britain 4, always very fast off the start, used to rowing in this kind of rough water, but it is picking up. The wind is straight head, it's slowing the courses down, the boats down, and the times are slow today, but the water is moving against the wind and it's roughing up slightly more than you would expect from this much wind. And right out in front, that 4 stroked by Hodge with Alex Partridge and Peter Reid and Steve Williams behind him. They are, as they have been throughout the season, half a length clear of the field. Now this is the tactic employed by British 4s ever since they formed the 4 after the 96 Olympics, which were won by Matt Pinsent and Stephen Redgrave in the pair. They went off to form a 4 with James Cracknell, and that was the beginning of a run of 4s from 97 through to today, which shot out in front and then hung on to that leading position. They've never varied the tactic, and Hodge just picked up where Pinsent left off, and here they are coming up to 500 metres with 3/4 of a length on the field, and particularly on Holland, who looked absolutely wonderful in their semi-final. Third place to New Zealand, hanging on to Holland, 2.85 seconds behind Great Britain. Canada in 4th, Denmark, and then the United States. These are the Olympic champions in 8s, bringing up the rear at this stage in the race. But they started slowly in the semi-final, the United States, and built through the race, and were startlingly fast in the last 500. So they are not done with yet, and the doubling up, the load on their shoulders of doubling up is not excessive, because they have they qualified straight to the final in the 8, and they will not have had to do too much work since then. Holland slightly across the lane. Some of these crews finding it difficult with the wind. It looks dead straight from the flags, but it must be a little bit across, and Holland have closed back a little bit on the Great Britain crew, and which now leads by about 1/3 of a length. That's just 2/3 of a length. Focus on New Zealand. Donald Leach in the stroke seat there. .35.5 from Hodge. Dutch, slightly more of a sculling rhythm behind, tapping it along. It's less costly, leaves them more to play with in the finish. And as they come to 1,000, Holland has closed the lead to half a length, and has closed the lead to 1.18 seconds from 1.46. So it is slightly closer. Great Britain at a relatively steady rate, not really putting in any great moves there. Very nicely together. Peter Reid, his blade is in the, it was the further one of those two blades when we saw the close-up there in the 2-seat. He hadn't raced at this distance until the first of the World Cups in Eton, his first international race over 2,000 metres, and he won that in fine style. So these two crews level pegging, not level pegging, I mean holding the distance exactly the same as before. Dutch style, much more upright, much more of a sculling style. Frankly sweeter moving, but there is less power there. They're out of the silver medal 8, so they're all silver medalists from last year's Athens crew, and very definitely hoping to upset this British crew here today. And Canada in lane 5 have drawn through to take over third position from New Zealand, now in fourth. New Zealand didn't make the final in Lucerne, very disappointing for Chris Nielsen, the coach there, but firmly in the final here, and in third position, bronze medal position at 500, and in fourth at 1,000. 2.18, so they've opened up a second in that third 500 Great Britain. We saw them squeezing out on Holland, and clearly they made a move there. It wasn't visible in the sense the rate didn't jump up or anything, but they made a move which paid a dividend because they took an extra second from Holland. Canada in bronze medal position, closing now. That's a slightly unfair picture, but closing up on Holland. But Holland still a full length clear of Canada, as we can see from the picture there. Steve Williams at bow in the British 4, going for another gold medal. He won a gold medal in the Cox 4, Coxless 4, Olympic medal in the Coxless 4, and there's Hodge, the stroke man. Stroked Oxford to a wonderful victory, won the British trials, not looking too stressed. They've got 100 metres to go. They're holding off the Dutch by nearly a length, and it is a deserved victory after a season in which neither Reid nor Hodge has lost a race at all. The others have lost only trials races, so this is absolutely superb victory. Jürgen Grobler, the coach, deeply satisfied. Gold medal for Great Britain in the Coxless 4. Holland second with silver medal, Canada in third place. Then on the far side, Denmark coming up in fourth, beating the United States Olympic champions in to fifth, and New Zealand just bringing up the rear in sixth place. The first New Zealand crew we've seen today not to win a gold medal, but fantastic victory there. There's Alex Partridge, most unlucky in being dropped out of the British 4 with a punctured lung after Lucerne Regatta last year in 2004, before the Olympics. His place was taken by Ed Code. Deservedly, Ed won a gold medal, but this is Partridge's first gold medal, and Reid has not yet lost a race. Reid in the 2-seat in front of him has not yet lost a race over 2,000 metres international racing. That's quite some record. Rehash of the start, there the blades, Reid and Hodge perfectly together, very well set up and trained, beautiful moving. Holland, a serious challenge, carried out to the best of their ability. Silver medalists last year in the Olympics, silver medalists here in the Coxless 4 at the end of 2,000 grueling metres of headwind rowing. Great Britain's time, 6:11. Nowhere near any of the record times. The world best time set in Seville back in 2002 in the World Championships by the German crew with Sebastian Thormann on it, which didn't make the final here, and that was 5:41, so 30 seconds adrift there. That's how much headwind there is against this superb set of crews, led in by Great Britain, second Holland, and third Canada. Hodge there vowed with Barney Williams of Canada and president of the Oxford University Boat Club. They rowed together for Oxford against Cambridge earlier on this season. Hodge vowed he wouldn't cut his hair until he'd got a gold medal here